And let's get started.
Yay!
All right.
Yay! All right. I got my theme song. Venor Hall wrote my music for me. So I got my theme music. I think everybody should have their theme song.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. Who's stopping?
Everybody got to have their theme song. All right. Hey, Fit Fam. This is your girl, Orlandina Balan, and I am the Fitter Woman. I want to welcome you to the first installment of Fitter Woman Fridays. And today I have very, very special guests with me, Roxanne Edwards, Kat Vogel. Roxanne Edwards is an IFBB Pro sister, just like me. She is a personal trainer. She is a fitness model, right?
Yeah.
And oh, that's your family name, Lorenzo? So she's also a fitness model, and she is one of the founders of Just Us, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about that. And she doesn't want to say this, but she's also the coach. She didn't say this part, but she's also the coach of an Olympian, of an Olympian pro.
Yeah.
And next I have with me Kat Vogel. Kat Vogel is a woman that wears many, many, many hats. As you
Tons of hats.
Too many.
many hats. He is a certified, I'm going to get this, a licensed massage therapist, a certified group and fitness instructor. You are a consultant. I'm missing something. There was like 4 things. 5. What else do you, Kat?
Personal trainer. That's it. I think
Personal trainer?
good.
Okay, I missed that. Okay, she's a certified group instructor, personal trainer.
Consultant.
Yes.
I compete in figure. I'm an NPC competitor, but not an IFBB pro.
And she's soon to be an IFBB pro.
Oh,
she works.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, okay, I'll take it. All right, fam. I just want to make sure you guys in IG can hear us. Can you hear all of my guests? If not, I will find a different way to make sure that you can hear them. Can y'all hear them? I think you can, because no one's saying that you cannot. Okay. All right. Ladies, so let's just start it off. Let's start it off with that question.
Okay.
Why? What is going on with the Black female athlete? We have so many amazing athletes that we can. I was doing research, and there were certain athletes. I'm like, man, I forgot all about this person and that person. So the reason why I'm bringing up this question is we're noticing that a lot of we don't see too many Black fitness role models on the magazine. So there was the other day I was at the supermarket. Social distancing, of course.
Okay.
But I was in there.
I was wondering what was wrong with you.
I saw Shape magazine. Listen, this is me in the store. This is me.
Every day.
And I was in the store and I looked at Shape magazine, and one of the things I realized, what's up, Ramses? One of the things I noticed was that I don't see us. I don't see anybody that looks like us. And we've discussed this before, but I want to get your opinion as to why. Like, we have a lot of Black female athletes, but why don't we see us on the magazines? Why do you think that is?
Me personally, I think it's because, one, dynamically speaking, our physiques are sort of, I wouldn't say extra, but our physiques are very dynamic. And that's just a regular female walking around, Black female athlete or Black woman walking around. It comes across as almost aggressive. And I think as a result, it becomes something unattainable. So people get a little, oh, I can't do that. So instead of allowing or even raising the bar, they'd rather dismiss it. That's just my opinion. Anybody want to join in on that?
What do you think, Kat?
I would agree with what Rox is saying. I think that sometimes it's intimidating is a word I would probably also put in there.
There you go.
I think sometimes the physique can be intimidating.
Hold on 1 second. Rox, can you turn your volume up? Can you come closer to your mic?
Sure. How's that?
Can you hear Rox? She's still low.
Yeah, she's still low.
All right, hold on.
Let me see. This is working. Is this working? Yep. How's it now? Still low?
You're still low. One moment. I'm gonna see if I have an idea.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try and do something. No. I don't need that. Plus. What's the site? Let me see something.
Okay. Sorry about that, fam. I'm trying to see if I can hook up this speaker to your sound to boost your sound.
Hold on, I'm gonna do something on my end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and just go into my login.
Let's try that. Ramses, if I use the mic. That's what I'm gonna use the mic as an output.
Oh, there. Jeez. All right, let's try this. Oh.
I was trying to hook you up to another speaker that I have.
Well, let me try this thing first. What are you doing? Okay, I'm having all sorts of technical difficulties on my end. Nothing seems to want to work for me today. I can't seem to.
All right, here we go. I'm going to try this.
Okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
I think so. Hold on. There we go. That's not it.
Is it better?
Not it. Nope. But I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get me too in a minute. I'm just driving myself crazy over here.
Oh, but you can hear her? Tamika? Okay, Tamika says she can hear you.
Okay.
All right.
Can't believe I can't find it. Crazy.
Oh, I think I got it. Okay, you can hear her, Tamika. Okay, you can hear her a little better, Anita? Okay. They say they can hear you a little bit better.
Yeah?
We're trying to run you through this speaker.
Okay.
All right. So we will, if I can get that, that'll be great. Nope, it's not letting me.
Oh. Oh.
All right. It's not letting me.
All right, I'm going to try something on mine.
Okay, she's going to try to turn it up on her end. I'm going to bring you guys a little closer.
So,
I was trying to see if I had another wire that I can connect it directly to.
okay.
No.
Hold on.
I have a wire adapter for that, but okay. As organized as I am, I cannot find the wire, and I'm usually okay. It's all right. All right, fam. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear us better? Okay. Anita says she can hear you a little bit better. Tamika, you say yes. Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right. So I have a bunch of questions. So I'm sorry, Kat, we left off with your comment. So the question was, why do you think we're not portrayed so as much as our white female counterparts? And I want to preface this interview with, we are not trying to bash white women. We are just speaking on and focusing on Black women because there's certain challenges that we face that they don't, because of our complexion, because of our body type. And as Roxanne said, you know, we tend to come off and where we are more we are quote unquote masculine when we put on muscle. We look more, we are considered aggressive when we are passionate about something, whereas a white female athlete can show her passion and it not be taken and seen as aggressive. So Kat, I'm sorry I disrupted your flow when you were speaking and speaking on it, because you're an athlete, and what's your perspective on it?
Well, I was just bouncing. I was kind of piggybacking on Roxanne. I was just saying that another word we can put in there is intimidating. I mean, there's a couple things to say on this, but just to stay on this flow is, you know, we can look at the backlash that Serena got, you know, and she's got a beautiful body. She's a beautiful athlete, and she got support, and she also got the backlash from women and men alike to say that she looks masculine or having so much muscle, or, you know, all these different types of comments that were coming out then when she was on the cover of things, and she's beautiful. And the other side of that is that this is not anything new, I would say. Like, this is not a new issue, a new problem. And we feel it, especially, I think, being athletes and also then being in bodybuilding, because that whole piece of losing femininity and all that other BS, you know, so I think that we feel it a little more close to home, because it's always something that's in the sidelines. Like, oh my God, you're going to look mannish. Be careful if you don't get too big or too muscular. You're going to lose your femininity.
Yes.
And, you know, and we put on the wigs and wear the long hair, and we got to get dolled up to be on the stage, you know, and I guess that's to preserve femininity. And it's fine for people who like it and everything. And also, I think there's an expectation of that. So I think we feel that more. And if you look at history, Black women's bodies have always been on display for one reason or the other. So whether or not you want to say it's intimidation or highly sexualized or studied because it's different or any number of reasons, it's a historical issue. It's structural. Like, it's just, this is, you know, it's something we live with.
And the thing is, it's been interesting because as I was getting ready for this, I was doing research, and Facebook fam, Instagram fam, please chime in if you got something to say. This is not one of these, you know, we're just going to talk and just talk at you. We really want you to be part of this discussion. When I look back, when I see how far this goes, you know, we look at Wilma Rudolph and you know, just further back when you see even just women in golf, how long we've been ostracized because of our build. And as you said, you know, they said that it begins even from the beginning of slavery, how, you know, we were seen as exotic and, you know, not, you know, just because of our build, oh, you know, we can withstand anything and everything. We're supposed to be stronger than everybody else. But to piggyback on what you said in terms of we come off masculine, over the summer, I had an incident where a gentleman, and I'm calling him that loosely, just because I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I want to say something else.
We get it.
We get it.
This, you know, had the audacity to say, "Excuse me, miss." Said, "Excuse me." Okay. Not said, "Excuse me," but I wanted to ask you, are you a man?
Oh, wow.
I was so taken back. I looked at him. I said, "Did you just ask me if I'm a man?" I'm like, "Why would you think that you would have to ask me something like that?" He's like, "Well, because, you know, you have a lot of muscle." And it's exactly what he was. He was a moron. And you know, it's one thing when you're ignorant and you keep your ignorance to yourself, but you actually voice it And that,
Yeah.
so I was so like, there's a saying we say in Creole, like, tout like, I just had goosebumps everywhere. And I was just like, what? How dare you? I said, who are you to ask me if I'm a woman or not? I said, there's not one part of me that tells you that I'm a man. Because I said, because I have muscles, and I just went off.
Yeah.
And there happened to be this gentleman, now I'm going to call him a gentleman. He comes over and he takes my elbow and just starts to pull me away from the conversation. He says, now, sister, if you think I'm going to let you waste one more breath, one more point of your energy on this guy, you got another thing coming. He says, I'm from the South. I've lived in California, and we see women built like you all the time.
Yeah.
And we love it and we appreciate it, and don't worry about it. So even then, you know, and we know that this body, whether you're a tennis player, ice skater, like we work hard. We work as women. You work hard in general to build that body, to build that physique.
Yeah.
So what do you think? My next question is, when you look at the media, how do you feel about how Black women are portrayed in general? And then how do you think the Black female athlete is portrayed?
Wait, what was the question? How Black females portrayed?
How are Black women, Black females portrayed in general in the media? What do you think about that? And then how are Black female athletes portrayed in the media?
Oh, it's a carryover. We're seen as, okay, so when we're voicing our opinion, rather vehemently or not, having a means we're aggressive. The fact that we talk with our hands means that we are is negative. Or if we're dark skinned, we're ugly. Or if we seem to have confidence, which technically we really do have confidence for a lot of reasons, it's apparently, it rubs them the wrong way. So Black females, like let's get an example of what Kat said. You had Halle Berry, who won an Oscar for taking off her clothes, essentially. She didn't win prior to that. But when she took off her clothes, that's when she became somebody that should have won an Oscar. Sexualized. So we're either being sexualized because of our ability to look a very specific way, or we're being ostracized because we have confidence in what we look like, or confidence in our opinions, or confidence because what we have to say is coming from a very strong place of what's the word I'm looking for? Identification. We know who we are as people. And as a result, because we know who we are, we're actually told to downplay it. Hence, that's why we have to get on stage with our hair long and our fictitious extra crap. Because we're not our exceptional selves. And that's the point. We are exceptional human beings. But we're always, and it's almost like you want to put a wig on. You're diminishing somewhat of our power, if that makes any sense. Because you're taking away something to make yourself feel good.
So you feel that in order to be accepted in the media, and then I have a comment, someone made a comment, and I want you, Kat, to address it. Ramses made a comment, but I'm just saying, like, from what I'm gathering, it's like to be accepted, we have to conform, like to be seen in the media. Because when I look at some of these, and I'm not going to name the shows, but there's some of these reality shows, the women are there's just a lot. There's just a lot going on. And I don't want to talk ill because they are Black sisters. They're women. They're out there, you know, they're making their money doing what they do on these shows. But I feel like it diminishes us. It makes us look so small.
Yeah.
And it doesn't allow us to really be who we really are, which is to be confident and to be, but without being catty. And there are women, there is that sense of cattiness, but that's not just for the Black women. That's just women. And that's another conversation, but but in order to be accepted, these women are wearing these long wigs. Now look, if you want to wear a lace front because you feel like wearing a lace front and it makes you feel beautiful, rock your lace front. But if you're wearing a lace front because you're not happy with yourself, that's a deeper thing. So Kat, listen to this comment.
Mm-hmm.
He said, this is Ramses. He says, all of this mimics the natural expression of the Black woman. I'm sorry. I didn't read the first part. The attraction of the Black women's aesthetic has been remixed over the past decade with Botox injected lips, fat transfer, or glue implants and spray tans.
Mm.
Yep.
All of this mimics the natural expression of the Black woman. But what is not accepted is the confidence of the Black woman, who mainstream may perceive as being out of pocket.
Yeah.
What do you think about that comment?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, so that's another thing. That's again, people like to go get tan, so they want to have the color. And then you have all these different, so we've been able to watch a lot more TV recently. So some of these questions are actually very relevant.
I wonder why you have enough time to watch TV.
I know. Who knew there was even these shows on? But one show that is slightly educational and slightly just entertaining is Botched, right? It's a show with the plastic surgeons, and they do a lot of corrective plastic surgery. But they usually always have at least one client who's kind of out the box, we'll say. And there's a woman, I think she's been on Instagram and things too, who has she's gotten, I think it's injections of like melanin, like she's darkened her skin. It's like there's a chemical way to darken her skin. She and her husband, and they're from Europe, like Swedish or German or something. Yeah. And so she was on there and she's gone through all these different surgeries to look like a Black woman. She's like she's a caricature of a Black woman. She looks like a comic. She looks comical. Like, I mean, it's almost disrespectful how it's disrespectful. How she looks, even though she thinks that she's celebrating Black women because she likes the aesthetic. And so I would add on to that comment that, people want the aesthetic. And it takes away, because the confidence piece that's inherent to some of us, that's they don't get that. You can't inject confidence. And at the same time, they don't want any of the other stuff that you got to go through to be a Black woman. And a Black woman of any shade. Like, so, I'm coming from the light, that I get it. And at the same time, it's like it's across the board. Like, you don't want any of the stuff, right? So for lack of that other word we want to say on here, you don't want to go through any of the stuff that it takes. That you want all of the glory without any of the pain of it. And even then, when you don't want that glory anymore, you go and take the implants out, or you don't go to the tanning salon or whatever it is that you're doing to get darker, or things like that. And also, and my other thought, so that I agree with what he's saying, and just to add on to that, and my other thought as to what you were saying is, and from watching this TV, that like I can't watch those shows, but I feel like in the media on TV and outside of an athletic woman, it's like there's these two ends of how they portray or where we're fitting into shows. Like, so you're fitting into like really bad stereotypes, which I think you were talking, which is kind of where you were alluding, right?
Yeah. And those reality shows with the fighting and the yelling and the fighting
and the yelling, and that's
super overly aggressive, like a caricature of the Black woman.
Like they really are making fun of themselves. Like it's just so much, and partially that's playing out because of like social media and all these things you can follow, which is great, and at the same time it's doing a disservice because, for example, like I live in Harlem, and there was a party one night at a place I was going to go to, but the people from Love and Hip Hop were there, and so that night, like fights broke out, and generally that's not been happening as much, recently. Things have calmed down. People are kind of chill, like go to the lounge. That the people from that show were there. Fights broke out that night. It couldn't get into the club. It was overly crowded. It was just, and it's like you're playing into stereotypes of what people think about us, and it's not who we are. And then you have the other side of it. If you watch like Hallmark Channel, of these like the one Black person in like a white town, and it's like those romance movies or something, and it's like the one Black person in a white town, she's got these friends, and then it happens that one other Black person who's a man comes to town and that's who the romance is. And it's like, what is this?
Exactly.
So it's like, and it's a completely watered down version of a person. And it's like, this is crazy.
Correct.
It's like the
So it's
Twilight
like-
Zone.
It is the Twilight, and I agree with you. It's like everybody has these thoughts, and we've spoken about this. Everybody has these thoughts of the Black woman, of what she can, what she is, what she's not. And unless the powers that be, I was talking to someone, they said it's always the powers that are in the dominant. And I'm not going to say them, whoever is in power, whoever is the decision maker, whoever is that person who people follow, everybody follows by what that person says. So it's like, if that group says this is what the Black woman is, even though it's not the Black woman that's voicing it, but this is someone's depiction of the Black woman. So if she's either ratchet and catty and just totally out of pocket in these shows like Love and Hip Hop, and look what kind of energy they bring with them. And you know, when I watch these, I said, why don't they focus on the entrepreneurial aspects of these women? Because most of these women have their own businesses. They're not focusing on that at all. They're focusing on the fact that who got whose man and who said what to who, and fighting. And as I'm a teacher and I teach junior high school, and I see my students, my girls, when they're fighting or arguing with one another, it's like watching an episode of Love and Hip Hop, because they are modeling what they see.
Right.
And so, like you said, it's this caricature of who we are, extremes, and never anyone on point. I want you to listen to this. Anita Y. King, or Anite, she says, it looks like we do not love ourselves. She said, I'm such a fan of bodybuilding as a plus size woman. This is why I follow you on IG. I'm assuming you're probably following Roxanne because you were looking for her. So this is why I follow with. She told me thank you. If you follow them, they say thank you too. Oh, yes. Anita. This is Anita. You guys know Anita? So it's Anita. No. So Anita says this is why she's a fan of bodybuilding and the plus size woman. And I love that. As a plus size woman, and you're right. And I think that there are some aspects where we may show that we don't love ourselves. You know, someone made a comment, and I want to present this to you. Ramses, you said, oh, the pigment injection. Yeah, she was German.
Okay,
they want the aesthetic without the stigma of the Black experience.
Right.
Oh, she follows. Oh, thank you, Anita. He said exactly what you said. They want the aesthetic without the stigma.
Right.
Without the stigma of the Black woman. And someone else said you hit the nail on the head. Tamika, she says you hit the nail on the head, Ramses. I want to ask two different questions, but you said something. I'm going to go this route. You're both professional women. You have your own businesses. And you work in the professional industry as well as in fitness. Have you ever felt, there's one thing I wrote on the fly and I didn't write it by accident. Do you think Black women are underestimated? Not only in the fitness industry, in the world of fitness, but in the world of corporate America in general. Do you think Black women are underestimated?
Underestimated and feared.
Feared.
Ooh.
Yeah. Is more to the point.
You said underestimated or feared.
Yeah, I think a little bit of both.
I don't think we're underestimated so much as we're feared. Because let's face facts. The way the world works, they have, if you haven't noticed, and I feel bad for our brothers, but Black women tend to be in the corporate world a great deal more and in higher positions than Black men.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for it. I'm going to say this, not to disrespect other cultures or races, but to realize that Black women, are more intelligent, highly educated. And as a result, and we don't technically, if we don't have to, take anybody's crap. We're not a doormat for anybody, especially when we're in that position of authority or whatever. So what happens there is, if you know that you have a woman who is highly educated, well-spoken, knows who she is, in a position of any kind of corporate America, in that structure, she's going to be an intimidating person.
Mm,
And as a result, fear becomes um, the bigger opinion or the bigger factor. Not that educated, but she's somebody to be reckoned with. And that tends to set things a little bit shaky for everybody else around them, including other
mhm,
females, including the men of their race. See what I'm saying? We're put in
mhm.
a very interesting position. We can't win for losing. You get what I'm saying? The only time we're
Yeah.
actually even close to being our greater selves is if we are positioned with a person of equal stature. Example, President Obama and Michelle.
Yes.
She is every bit as intimidating as he is. And the reason nobody dares anything to either one is because they realize on some level separate. They are co- they're a cohesive couple. So you can't mess with them.
Correct.
But if Michelle was by herself, it'd be a problem. Michelle is an intimidating human being.
And you can see it in how she presents
Just
herself.
because
Like
she's
she
smart.
never is
Absolutely.
like she's never makes any excuses, or it's never the shrinking violet, and
Hmm.
very much a proud Black woman, but still took a stance for just children in general. But I like how you ladies said that we're either we are feared rather than misunderstood, and we are not underestimated rather, or feared rather than underestimated. Anita says, yes, Black women are. I have to prove my intelligence all the time, she says.
Yeah.
I also agree with the fear part. Anita, I agree with you. I feel that when you are confident and you know who you are, you rock. We spoke about I rock my hair, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's purple. I got it up in braids and I have it in twists. I have it shaved on the sides, and I make I'm not gonna shrink from it. I love it. It's an expression of me. Roxanne, you will wear your hair bald and blonde, as short as you want to go, and then turn around, put a wig on because you just felt like it. And your hair is growing a lot, Kat, from the last. So
I
I had
know.
your hair a little.
Yeah.
I was like,
I
You're
am
like a killer.
struggling in the quarantine. Struggling.
girl, you ain't tell no lie. This black kid, I love her, but man, she got on her own. I'm like,
No,
okay, what we
ma'am.
gonna do? Because we haven't seen the barber in like a
What?
month.
So,
you know, but
you
but
gotta
the
be
beauty of
you
black,
gotta
there you go. We work it out, but
struggling.
we're struggling. We make it happen. We make it look beautiful. Either way,
Gotta
we
learn
ain't
to
gonna
cut your hair,
have you
man.
looking
You gotta
crazy.
learn to cut your hair.
But Anita, I so agree with you. I found myself many times having to. I don't want to have to prove my intelligence. Like I
Yeah.
remember showing someone submitting something, and the person looked it over and was like, "This was well written." I'm like,
Yeah.
"This is not a
Yeah.
writing activity. this is
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah.
document that I'm giving for you to look over. Of course, it's well written. I'm a teacher. I like to
Yeah,
me
but
that shouldn't have even been a comment. But the
Yeah.
fact that they said it was well written, I'm like, no, that's not. That's not what I'm looking for. I want you to read out. I want you to get the information. And I find that people tend to I don't know why we have to always prove that we're intelligent. And I don't want to have to do that. Like everything that I do should show that I'm confident in what I'm doing. I believe in what I'm doing, whatever the case may be. But I agree. And when you are confident, to go back to it, I do think it does promote a sense of fear because they don't know how to take you. I think that sometimes I feel like they don't know how to come at you. They're trying to figure out, is she going to get angry? That part I don't like. Is she going to
Yeah.
get angry if I say this, or if she's going to get like you have to? But meanwhile, if you go to someone, you just talk to them. You're not thinking, is this person going to get angry? But I feel like when we're approached, people are trying to figure out, well, I don't want her to get angry, and
Mm-hmm.
she starts twirling her neck and just let me
Oh,
tell
geez,
you
yeah.
something.
yeah. Well,
That kind of dynamic.
what it is they walk on eggshells around us because they don't know how to perceive us. I had a woman once. It was one of my friends, one of my colleagues at another gym. His mother came to visit, and I don't know. We were talking. We had a conversation, And she turned around and said these words: "Wow, you're well spoken for a black person."
Oh, oh,
Now, half of me wanted
you
to,
speak so well.
half of me wanted to go become coon, like get coonery on her. I was like, okay, I realized this is ignorance at its finest. So I looked at her. I looked at my friend. He was mortified because he's white, and he's mortified. Like, Mom, what did you just say? But I just said, it happens sometimes. We don't all crawl out from under a rock. And she was so hurt. She was just like, oh, I am so sorry. I was like, relax. I understand that where you come from and what you're being presented as black people, that's the only stereotype you have. So myself personally, I know that I take it upon myself that no matter where I show up as black excellence. So
Yes.
when you speak to me, whether you know me or not, I mean, my friends, they know I'm an ass, but the general public,
You're not an ass. You just are very much the truth teller, is what it is.
yeah, well,
You say the things that people don't want to
want
say,
to
or
say.
they're like the things that you shouldn't. You really shouldn't say that. And Roxanne, that's why I love you so much, because you are who you are, and you make no bones about it. You don't try to you don't shy away from it. You are who you are. You either like it, love it, or leave it. Or is it?
Exactly,
You
but
would never change.
the point is, it's like you got to remember, we're all the way I see the same way I see fitness is the same way I see life. Okay, so as a representative of my sport, let's say I'm an ambassador of my sport. I don't walk
Hmm.
around being a dick to people come up to me, hey, could you give me advice about blah 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 blah, whatever, whatever. Well, I would be carrying myself in the streets as a black woman. I want you to
Yes.
look at me and aspire to that. Not saying you got to aspire to having bald head and blonde hair. No, I want you to aspire to be
Yeah.
the best version of yourself, which means
Hmm.
take a chance. Don't listen to everybody's opinion. If you like something, be passionate about it enough to live your life in your truth. And that's a very hard thing for most
You seem very engaged.
black women to do, especially those in the game who are trying to please, I don't know what, but they're trying to please other people who are going nowhere.
We have somebody on
You see what
Facebook
I'm
that
saying?
said, yes, that's it. That there's this concept of trying to please. IG, I think that the contrary. I believe that because of speaking on the black women, I believe that because of the black women's confidence and desire to prove themselves, the black women are perceived as a threat, as you said. Racism and prejudice are learned behavior. We're not born with prejudice. As a matter of fact, when you take away materialism, the nature of humans is to survive, not to hate. Perceptions through prejudice lenses is learned through exposure. So you get exposed to prejudice long enough, you'll start believing the stereotypes that you've never been exposed to. So you have ever met a black woman in person, but because you've been exposed to these prejudice, that now you begin to say, well, as they say, perception is reality. Whatever you perceive
It's everything.
is what will be. Well, speaking on that, this perception being reality, I have a niece, and she's 6 years old. She's my little twin. She looks like me. I love my baby, and she loves the fact that I have muscles. And she'll come to me, she'll touch my arm. She said, Tati, these are so beautiful. They're so beautiful. I'm strong, Tati, just like you. I want to be Wonder Woman, just like you. And when she says that, I'm so proud of her, because she just sees a reflection of her in me. And the question I want to pose to you is, do you think the media or fitness or the media, do you think there's enough examples of women that look like you and me for our young girls? I've been going to different events. There's a group in Hempstead called She Talks, and this last month they had an amazing event where they brought the first Black athletic director. from St. Joseph's College. They brought one of the first Black female football players. She started playing football at like the age of 42. So they brought these amazing women for these young girls to look at and to see like, hey, this could be me. Do you think that there are enough images out there in either athletics, because in the field of fitness, let's just go back to fitness. In the world of fitness, do you think there are enough role models out there for our young girls? No. Okay.
No. And I think if they do have them, they don't show a wide variety. There's not enough variation. So you'll show them. There'll be track or there'll be gymnastics. They're very rarely basketball. They're very rarely hockey. They're very rarely, what's the other one? It's boxing, kickboxing. They're very rarely all the other sports that women actually excel in. And as a result, you have a little girl who wants to be a boxer. But if she's not being shown a boxer, how is she to know she can actually do that? Unless she's got people around her willing to tell her, yeah, you could do whatever you want. Like I had a little girl when I was competing a while back, and I don't know, she just came out of, she's like a 4-year-old woman in an 8-year-old's body. So I'm walking down the street, and she walks up to me. She's like, hey. She knew me for years. Hey. I was like, hey, what's up? She goes, I swear this chick was like 40. So she goes,
she's like, hey, like, 4 years old? They're bold now. They're bold now. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I don't run track. She goes, how you get that body? I was like, I said, because I weight train and I'm a bodybuilder. She goes, oh, okay. So how long did it take you to do that? It's like the better part of my life. She goes, wow. Because now, of course, she sees the difference between our ages, and she's thinking, man, that's gonna be difficult. Think about highlight. I'm like, what? Highlight? I was like, girl, if you want to do highlight, by all means, do highlight.
Woo!
Now, what I loved about the question was not the fact that it came from this 40-year-old, 8-year-old woman, but it was the fact that of all the things that she thought about, she thought about highlight as a definitive destination for herself. You get what I'm saying? It was such a diverse thing. And I think part of it was because her expectation of what I was going to say, which was, yeah, I run track, it blew her away. I wasn't track. It wasn't a sport she'd ever even thought about. But because I did bodybuilding, something totally antisocial, it gave her permission to do something completely left field. Because I would have never thought about highlight. She just came out with it. I don't even know when she saw it. Her uncle or her father, whoever he was like, yeah, I know. Highlight.
I'm going to say this and I want to address what you said, because it's exactly that. We by seeing us, we're allowing our girls to see that there is more out there. Your typical athlete, your Black female athlete will be your track and field. That's like that, you see Allison Felix, all these girls out there just doing their things, right? Anita King says, going back to the visibility, she said, so do you think we need to put pressure on Black publications to start featuring more Black athletes?
Can we just say one thing? I just want to add in one thing. Like, so we need more Black presence and female athletes in the mix, and we need to take a look at what's happening with women and sports in the first place, because women altogether across the color line, we need to figure out where our place is in sports. So like when Rox is saying we don't see basketball and all these other sports, we can take a look at the big fiasco that happened with the soccer. And the U.S. women's soccer team were rock stars, and they brought in more money to everything. They brought in more spectators, more money and everything than the men's soccer team, who at the time was not that great. And the women's soccer team is bringing home the cups. So, and still fighting to get equal pay, or they should be making more than the men at this point, but we're fighting just to get at least equal pay. So I mean,
Correct.
so
Interesting.
yeah,
Keep going.
we definitely need to have women of color in sports, and we also need to take a broader lens on fitness and sports and health and wellness, all that, and look at where are women in the first place, because women in the first place will be an example to everybody, and then we can highlight, because we know that in a sport we will get highlighted, right? So we will come to the front as women of color in sports. We will come to the front. If that's there, make no mistake. And we need to first have women in sports visible. And they're visible like during the Olympics, like you're saying, with like gymnastics and things. That's fantastic. And look at the splash that Gabby made and Simone. I mean, like these are people we still talk about.
Yeah.
Right. And they become, and then also bodybuilding. Take a look at bodybuilding, and their top athletes who win in the categories are Black women. Look at figure, Black women. Your physique woman is a Black woman, and they don't even televise. There's no televising of bodybuilding at all. So there's not. So people. So the bodybuilding world is very shut off anyway. So even if you were to go say you're a bodybuilder, the images that people have of that. I mean, even my own dad. The images that they have of that are people walking around looking crazy.
Yeah, looking crazy. Like on YouTube, it's always the very extreme. And I tell people, I said, that's an extreme.
Right,
that's
exactly.
More extreme. I said, but not everybody is that same. Just like nobody has the same body type.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. And our one of the winningest Olympians, Iris Kyle, Linda Murray.
Yeah,
these women were the
rock stars.
See a lot
and how many times you see
beautiful rock stars.
How many times did you see them on the cover of a magazine?
Exactly.
Say it again?
How many times?
No, I know. How many times have they graced the magazine?
And then what happens? And then what happens is fetish work.
I'm sorry. Anita says the WNBA, they have to play overseas just to get a decent salary.
That's exactly right. So the WNBA with the basketball, all of them, like even bodybuilders, go overseas to get a following, and a following that's not a fetish following. So in bodybuilding, so then let's take it back right to the beginning of our conversation of sexualizing the Black woman's body. Now you've sexualized it even more because you're so. And don't get me wrong, I worked in sexual health for many years, and I am very sex positive and very have your fetish, enjoy your lifestyle. Yeah. And at the same time, let's look at what's with women's bodies. Like the only way for a bodybuilder to make money is to go work the fetishes, whether or not she's into it. So what I mean. So we need to take a look at what happens there. And I agree, like WNBA those women are working just as hard, if not harder. And that goes back to how you're talking about women being a threat or intimidating Black women. So it seems that all of us are educated here. And I grew up with my mom saying that the only way you're going to succeed is if you go and get your degree. Nobody leaves this house. If you're a Black woman trying to make it in this place, you're going to get at least your 4-year degree. Then you can do what you want. But until you get that, that's what's going to happen. And so that's what was instilled in us. So that's how we live. So if we look intimidating, we're always we have to prove ourselves because we know that that's why we have to get there. And it doesn't make it right. It just makes it, if you're intimidated by us, we've been ingrained with those.
To be that way.
Exactly.
Because look, when I was going to elementary school, right? I went to a private elementary school, all Black. And the first thing they told us when we were babies, and I mean, when I say babies, it's like nursery school. So we're or pre-K or wherever the hell I started at. Anyway, the first thing they told us the first day of school, and remained that same mantra until I graduated, was you are Black, therefore you have to be 3 times better than anybody else on the planet. Now, take that as just a regular Black child, no gender attached. Then add your gender.
Right.
What do you think is going to happen? You have to be now 3, 6, 10 times better than anybody just to be recognized in your particular field of expertise. You get what I'm saying? Or the other side of the story is women do it to themselves. I was in a show, and I'm playing devil's advocate, but I was in a show and had like 5 or 6 female bodybuilders in the show. And the show was weird anyway. They called us out, they introduced us by our badge numbers. So when I got on the stage, I realized that all the women were in the back of the stage, as if they were waiting for permission to be in the damn
What?
show. They were in the back of the stage. I saw that and I was like, I will be damned. I paid my money to be in this show. I'm being in the show. So I pardoned myself all the way to the front, past the guys. And when I got to the front, the audience's reaction was bananas. Because up until that point, they didn't even realize females were in the show.
Mm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh
Women
my gosh.
tend to play down their
Yeah.
behavior.
Oh,
Exactly. They play it down. Almost like you're almost apologizing for being excellent. Or you're apologizing for being
correct.
great. Are you crazy? So when I showed up and hit my only shot at that point, which made sense, was my ab shot, the audience lost it. Because when I started, I was just teeth, eyes, and a spine. But the
Yeah.
point is, when I hit that shot, that's when you saw all the other women coming forward. It's as if when one goes, we give the others permission to
Yeah.
be amazing. And that's,
And I want to talk to you about just us. I
I
want
was
you to
just
talk about
thinking
just
that.
us. This is perfect.
I
Where
was
one,
just
you
thinking
said
that.
something amazing. So, um, oh, Anita wants to know, and then we're going to get into just, Anita wants to know if, do you have agents that will promote you in these fitness magazines?
Mm.
No, a lot of my jobs show up because I'm just me. So I don't, unlike most other athletes who get opportunities and either they're not particularly set for the opportunity that's given to them, meaning they're not in shape, so they feel some kind of way. I can totally understand
Yeah.
that. A lot of times, whether I'm technically in shape or not, I take the opportunity. So because I take the opportunity, I am allowed to see other avenues
Mm-hmm.
to make my money. So get my opportunities by myself is because I've been in plays where other people came to those plays, saw me, and was like, "Hey, can you do this gig with me?" Then from that gig, somebody else saw me, and my gigs have been one avant-garde extravaganza after another. It's only recently I started doing like mainstream, and even those mainstream things are strange in a way. But I get mine because I don't I don't look at an opportunity as I'm not ready for it. I go whether I'm ready or not, I'm taking it, and I'm pretty
There you
sure I'll
go.
be ready by the time I'm there. That's
Yeah.
just me.
And you just take it. But just like you said, just like the way you attacked the stage that day, you said, I was in the back, and I'm like, I didn't work this hard to be sitting in the back. Somebody else said, Tamika says she agreed with you. She said, yes, I found myself doing that at times, apologizing for being excellent in certain professional settings. So unfortunate, but true. And what you said was, once you went ahead to do it, the other women followed. And
Yes.
this is where I want to talk to you about just us. This group that you founded, that I know that with everything that we're doing, we want to grow this. We want to be that spearhead where one goes, other will follow, because now they see somebody doing. Tell us more about just us.
Okay. Well, Just Us has been around for a while with me. Um,
Mhm.
a long, long time ago, and it was supposed to be a magazine, but since then magazines have died. Or
Digital
paper
magazine. You
magazines.
can still make it
Yeah,
a digital magazine. Just putting
we're
that
gonna
there.
get. No, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But at that time, it was just paper magazines. Anyway, I had thought about it, and at the time, it was really about women and my thoughts about how women undercut and undermine themselves continuously, whether it's like I said, not owning their strength or by you know being idiots to each other, nobody
Mm.
supporting the other person. So I wanted to create a voice, and that voice is one voice, which all the women coming together. Right now, Just Us is a collective of Black women. It encompasses other races as well, but right now I'm focused solely on our struggle because nobody's gonna fight for us unless we fight for ourselves. So at this moment, just us, and if you say it fast enough, it means justice. It says justice. Um, it's a collective where we celebrate the female athlete. And I like the word celebrate because it's not to diminish our strength, our beauty, our confidence, our ability to get it done no matter what. And I know Kat, and I know you, and I know a whole bunch of other female athletes. We have been up against it during prep in some crazy capacity, but we wind up because we said so.
Yeah.
Getting on that stage in excellence, regardless. My thought is, why not applaud all the other athletes, not just the ones in fitness, our Richard fitness, but the powerlifters
Mm-hmm.
or the boxers or the little highlight 8-year-old,
The MMA fighter.
the gymnast, or the
Yeah,
MMA fighter.
I'm going to be
Why not
interviewing a woman. She's one of the few MMA fighters. She's a woman, black female MMA fighter. Yes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's awesome. My point is, for just us, it's the spearhead. It's gonna give women, I think, a support base to, instead of just seeing yourselves through the lens that they see you. We're constantly told that we should be looking at, which is a European vision of what beauty is, which isn't necessarily the truth, is it now? Because we all know people who are fattening their lips and tanning, and this craze about getting a big behind. Where'd that come from? It came from us.
That's right.
Okay,
The little waist and the big butt. That's the black woman right there. I'm like, that's your Caribbean woman. Little tiny waist, big hips, big butt. I'm like,
big waist, big ass. Exactly.
yes.
My point is, let us see ourselves through the lens of which we were meant to be seen. There's a thing. I think it was an interview they did with the Black Panther, and they asked one of them something about, well, why is Wakanda all black, or why your character seems so confident? And her answer was amazing. And it didn't occur to me until I looked back at my own past. But when I went to that elementary school that was all black, she said the reason the people from Wakanda were so confident about who they were was because the only people they saw was.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. I'm like, what happened?
Hello?
Okay, there you go.
What happened?
You're here.
I can't hear anybody.
You can't hear us?
I'm back.
Okay, I can hear you.
I'm off.
Now you're on.
What happened? I can't hear anybody.
Okay, I hear you. You can't hear us?
Step out for a second.
Okay.
Because nobody's hearing me.
We can hear you. She's going to step out.
Okay.
She couldn't hear us, but we could hear her. So she's going to come back in. Ooh, is that her?
I'm here.
There you go.
Here we go.
There she is.
Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you now, but we can't see you.
I don't know why that is, because
Anita loves this. She said this is awesome.
Okay.
One of the other ladies that's listening in, she says that's great. Whether she liked what you said, Rox. She said, whether I'm ready or not, I'm taking the opportunity and I'll be ready when I get there. She said, that's my take home for tonight.
That's good. That's a great one.
That's a
That'll be her take home for tonight. We can't see you.
I don't know why. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties today. It doesn't even make any sense. I'm on, but I can't see myself, and I can't figure out why I can't.
We can hear you.
The video is on, and I don't know.
We can hear you.
Well, we'll take that.
We'll take that. We'll take it.
But
we only have like a couple minutes left anyway.
Okay.
But hey, cuz, this is the Tonight Show is about the Black female athlete. My cousin, she just joined us. She was actually a phenomenal track and field athlete, and is now a doctor, and was just amazing athlete. So she definitely can relate to what we've been talking about tonight. So, Rox, or Kat, we are all part of this collective. Where can we find more information about about Just Us Collective, Kat?
Okay.
Where we can we find more information and to join, and what can we look to in the near future?
Well,
Okay.
Rox, correct me if I'm wrong, but right now we have an IG page.
Yep, we got it.
So that is where you would get most of the information. Pre-quarantine, we had been in talks about having an actual live workshop that would have been great.
Listen,
and it could still happen. It's just postponed.
Yeah.
And you kind of get a preview of your speakers right here. So that's a good introduction to that. But I would just stay on IG and make sure you like or follow on IG and just keep up, because we'll keep up the updates there, especially for right now as our current conditions allow.
Warrants, yeah.
Exactly. Rox, go ahead and keep talking. The family out there saying, keep talking, Rox. We can still hear you.
Well, I'm just saying, hopefully, Dino put up a website so everybody knows the two women that you can still see are responsible for a greater part of the content that you guys are going to be a part of. Without them, Just Us would still be in my head and not necessarily be right now. I am the worst. I come up with ideas, but I am not the one to perpetrate the fraud. So these two women are basically your go-tos for why Just Us is actually being not just a thought, but an actual walking, talking entity. And I would like to just go on record as saying thank you very much to both of them. Without them, Just Us would still be just a dream and not an actual collective. So,
well, thanks for having the dream, Rox.
Exactly. You know what? This is where my friend Tamika, she's online right now. She's part of an organization, and they're just starting up. It's what's the name of the foundation, Tamika? Type it. And she's on the board, and she was saying how when you have a group of people working together as a collective, everybody has a strength in somewhere. Kat, she's really great at putting things together and like organizational chart and knowing how to put the flow together. I mean, you're just watching. I'm like, wow, that makes sense. Okay,
Thank
Rox, Rox is the big macro. Here's the idea.
Yeah, figure it out, people. Figure it out.
Go with it. And then I'm like, hey, we got to do this now.
Yeah,
you
right.
want to do this now?
Exactly.
Yeah, this is great.
Exactly.
You want to do this now? So,
but you are also the thoughts. Like you can, the way you put it together today to have us be here and have this discussion that was well needed and well warranted, because there's a lot of women out there thinking the way we think, but they don't have a voice.
Yes.
And this platform gives them a chance to have that voice. Just like you said, everyone has a strength. I just want the fact that we have three people with obviously different talents working together to make this one thing happen should be an example to other women that it's not catty. It's not about being a catty person.
No.
Unintended, Cat. But it's not about
no worries.
It's not about seeing someone else shine and then trying to destroy them. If anything, I see you shine. I want you to shine as well. Helping me shine more. You're maybe giving me permission to do something I hadn't thought about, and take it on myself. And that's what a collective is supposed to do. We are to applaud each other, not sit there and sabotage and snicker and say negative things about
love on one another.
Right.
Exactly.
You see, she said, Tamika says this. She says, we can do Just Us virtually. She says you'll have a bigger reach, because she'd love to chime in. She's from Tennessee. She's also an NPC competitor, nationally qualified. Yeah, and but she has her own business. She's a mobile physical therapist. She owns a company called Sports and Vitality Sports and Rehab. So you have these women who are all athletes and have professions. You're coming together. She's part of an initiative called the Get Healthy Community in Tennessee. So yes.
Nice.
Do me a favor. Clearly you are the one that has all the connections with the online stuff. Maybe we can create some sort of not mailing list, but a list of all these women who were here today and set the ball rolling. Chime in, tell us what you'd like to see. Chime in and tell us what you're capable of adding to the collective. It's not just about, granted, yes, we are the founders,
Yes.
but we would be nothing without the audience. So, like we always say, we're not trying to talk at you. We're trying to talk with you. So if you can add something to the mix, see, or you want to maybe add in yourself, by all means, put your name down, or we have the Just Us page at the end of the broadcast. Please, it's at. Of course, right now I'm drawing a blank as to what the hell the Instagram name really is. So come to my page,
Yeah.
or DM me, and I will send you to where you need to go, and you can start following us from there. I try to post a lot of positive images. Usually, it's images
Yes.
that I can't necessarily with my regular page voice, because that's more universal voice. But by all means, please, we need as many positive.
I'm typing it now.
To be what I just said. Everybody's got straight. So we need as many positive women to make our voices strong. The reason we're not seen because we're dysfunctional. How about let's get rid of some of the dysfunction? It begins with us. So be the change you want to see. I know I sound cliche, but I don't really give a rat's ass. But if you really want to be about it, then let's do something about it. Let's all get together and, make this thing something bigger than just three chicks going to the back of a gym trying to have a workshop and a seminar.
That's true.
To get women
That's how it's going to start. All things start off that way.
Exactly.
All things start off at the back of some gym.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to look back and we're going to say, remember how we started off in the back of the gym?
True.
And look where we are now, right?
And exactly. True. Also know that coming soon, with any luck, we have a Just Us t-shirt that for those, I think, especially for the women who actually sat in on today's conversation and had so many great comments and things that they wanted added in, I would like to start off by giving them a t-shirt. Let them represent what Just Us means as well. So as soon as I can get that t-shirt set up, you get the names, we'll try to send or get that says what we are. And just so you know, I'm full of arrogance a lot of times, or read it as confidence. But the t-shirt of itself says, God created Black women just because he wanted to show off.
That's right.
So I think it's incumbent upon all of us that if you're going to wear the t-shirt, you are an excellence. And it is
That's right.
It's a reminder to everyone seeing you that you ain't no joke and you are about positive change and positive energy. And
if you want to be part of a movement was never done without the people. A movement, a revolution was always started, the visions was started with a few, but in order for it to be successful, we need the people. In order for us to see change, we need to be the people that push and move forward. So if one of us falls, there's somebody else there to pick us up and just say, let's keep going. Because it's not going to be easy to change the status quo, to change tradition. It's always to change that frame of thought of, it's always been done this way.
Yeah.
If it was good for them, then it's good for us. And why can't you just conform? So to change that way of thinking, we need you. So everyone that was online tonight with us and listening to us, you can follow us on just_us_1LTV. 1LTV. One love, one tribe, one vibe. Just_us_1LTV. So this is just the very beginning. And if we can start doing things like this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring this conversation and wanted to say, hey, introduce the world to just us collective. So we need you. So come on in. We want women with different professions, different backgrounds, different gifts and talent, because we each have a gift. We each have a talent that when we come together, we're all puzzles. It's separate little puzzles, but when we come together, we paint this beautiful picture of strong Black womanhood. And we know that this collective will grow and to include all women of color, all women of that. But right now we are focusing on the Black female athlete, not to diminish the other women of other nationalities, or other races, but we are focusing on us right now because this is where we feel we are so misunderstood and we're not seen. We're not seen. There's a lot of us, but no one sees us for whatever reason. And unless we're being the opposite, being this extra caricature. So join us, follow us on IG at @just_us_1LTV. Justice. We say just us, but when you say it quickly, it's just us. Anita, you say, can non-athletes join in the support? Yeah. Anita, it's for all women. Yeah. It's for all Black women. Yes.
That was the actual point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
this is the point of it's a collective. Everybody's not going to be an athlete, but everybody has something to give and to provide. Everybody has something to contribute. So
it's a way
absolutely
for women who don't know about the sport. They learn that these women are no different than themselves. And then it might give them permission to try.
Correct. Anita says she's there.
Cool.
She says she's
very
there.
Nice.
Yeah, Anita. And Anita also said churches have started in living rooms.
True story.
Churches have started in living rooms. So I'm going to leave you ladies to close. Rox, what do you want? What's your closing thought? What do you want the people to take away from this conversation? Either one of you ladies. Kat, do you want to do this one or?
No, I think that I think first of all, the comment that you said about being ready, somebody wrote, I think that was a fantastic way to kind of sum up where we are. I mean, and I can't remember it. I should have written it down because I would like to use it as well. But I mean, I think that what we did today was show up, right? And we showed up and we are putting forward that we are ready for this conversation, ready to start this collective, wanted to bring it to you and open it up and introduce who we are here. And I think that that's what we did. And I think it was a fantastic, hour with a lot of great comments. And it was great to feel the positive energy come from the comments that you were reading off, so that the love is there and that, we're ready to shine.
And we need you to do it.
That's what it is. Yeah.
My ending is, if you do anything else for yourselves, I want you to be yourself. Don't worry about the next chick. Don't worry about your mother. Don't worry about your aunt, what your aunt says, what the neighborhood says. Worry about yourself. Be your best self to yourself. You got one life. Don't spend it spinning. What about what he thinks about me, or what she thinks about me, or what this does to me? And at the end, if you don't do what you want to do, your life is wasted. Period. Do what you want to do and do it well. And hold fast to your truth. Be your authentic self and stop trying to be so-and-so's girlfriend or so-and-so's sister. Be yourself. And then you can be all the other crap later. Because once you're yourself first, then you're excellent other things later. Period.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to read some of these comments for you. Tamika says, yes. Anita says, I have someone when you're ready to do a conference. I have a Black business to help. So Anita, I'll be contacting you to put this all together. So we will get together. So we will be reaching out to you. Danny Doc, which is my cousin Danielle, Dr. Danielle St. Leger, she said, I would be so down for this movement. I feel that I could contribute We all can contribute. Oh, she says, love you, cuz you're such such a positive energy. I love you too, my cuisine. Fam, I can't close this any better than you ladies have summarized. That I have nothing to add to this. This right here is exactly what the collective is. It is the physical manifestation of what we've been speaking on. She said facts. They speak on facts. You speak on facts. Everything you brought out into the conversation and supporting each other. And Rox, we spoke about this last year at Tampa, and we said, you know what, we need to do this. We need to do this so that we can support one another as we go through and cheer each other on. Because the other thing that I saw, in order for us to be successful as women, we need a collective. We need our tribe.
Yes.
We need our tribe. There was a book that I read called The Red Tent, and this is going to be my closing. In the book, The Red Tent, they spoke about the biblical character of Dinah. And in this book, there was this red tent that the women would all converge in. This is where they learned to cook, to clean, to take care of children, to be married, what it means to be widowed. They learned all aspects of facets of womanhood underneath this red tent, because this is where the women would sleep when they were on their cycle, so they wouldn't sleep in their husband's tent, they would sleep here. And this is where they learned everything that it means to be a woman. How best to learn to be a Black woman of excellence, but then to be surrounded by Black women of excellence. You can only be what you surround yourself with. So fam, I'm telling you, I'm leaving you with these words. Follow us, join us, because this movement, this is just the beginning. But we need you to continue it. Fam, with that, be bigger, be fitter, be stronger. Love yourself unconditionally, because you were created as one unique being, and we need you. So fam, with that, my name is Orlandina Balan, and I am the Fitter Woman, and thank you for joining us with Muscles and Stilettos, my Fitter Woman Friday. And I want to give a special thanks and gratitude to Kat Bogle. You can find her on Instagram at Kat Bogle. And you can also follow Roxanne at BadassRox1, right?
Yep.
So you'll see it on the flyers, and everybody who's interested, you can DM me, you can DM Rox, you can DM Kat, whoever you want to DM, or just send your DM directly to _us _1LTV. One love, one tribe, one vibe. Good night, fam.
Good night.
Bye.
I'm ending the broadcast.